Alright. Hopefully everything is working as it should. Hopefully. One, there's a stream there. Yeah, audio is working as it should, streams up, chat's up, bot is working, everything is good to go. That's fantastic. Shouldn't have to wait long, folks. Should not have to wait long. Attendance isn't exactly sky high for this one. Hello, Johnny. I wouldn't know, I didn't catch stream last night. The most important thing when it comes to commentary is that if you have fun, that's all that matters. That's something I set myself when I started commentary years ago. Before all the professionalism and whatnot. I made sure that first and foremost I had a good time in the booth. I had fun watching. Because typically, when you're enjoying what you're watching, your commentary reflects that, and people enjoy it. They want to have a slice of that enjoyment, so... You had fun. That's the most important thing. Yeah, that's sort of the ideal goal when it comes to doing commentary. Find a way to make a business out of it. Takes a while. Need a bit of luck as well to find the right people. We shouldn't be too far away. I think we're set to have 15 for this race. 12, 3, yeah, 15. Hello, Shields. Chulo. 1002. On the list? No. Who's that then? Oh, it's Orlando. Okay, that explains a bit. Well, yeah, Orlando has a similar number, doesn't he? 1002. Yeah, that does explain a bit. Oh, if it rains, it's going to be an awfully long night. If it rains. Awfully long. Oh, there's certainly pattern in that Death Storm, if that's the case. Hopefully, hopefully the Codemaster gods are a bit nicer to AM1. Doing a rain dance. Gotta make it rain. I don't know, a wet weather qualifying doesn't sound terrible. But a wet weather race, that would be, yeah, long. Because I suppose, even if it does rain, you wouldn't have to change much in terms of setup. You're running max downforce around here anyway, so it wouldn't be that much of a headache in terms of setup. It's just a headache because of the track, so... P6, best quality call. Yeah. I've never been a big qualifier myself. If you ask me to nail, you know, not a ridiculously fast lap time over and over again, then I could probably do that, but I can't extract enough pace out of myself to get good at the one laps. I've just never been good at them. Yeah, I think that's a fairly universal statement there, Mr. Duval. When you're not hitting the walls, you're pretty fast. I think that's the same for almost everybody. That's the tricky bit, ain't it? Not hitting the walls. They are properly everywhere. Oh, that's right, you never know. It's always quite satisfying when you can string laps together. Especially around here in Monaco. The problem is, though, it's 39 laps. It takes a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of mental power to just keep it out of the barriers. Like, keeping a good pace, that's one thing, but keeping out of the walls here is a completely different game. Damn headset. Messing around with me. There we go. Because the walls are literally millimeters away from you, so you make even the slightest mistake and boom, it's game over. Yeah, you know, it happens, especially in the rain, where, you know, even drivers who prefer racing in the rain, because of how demanding this track is, like I say, it only takes a small mistake, and it doesn't have to be your mistake either. It could be somebody else's and you're just involved. But it only has to be small. And it gets even smaller in the wet because there's less grip. There's a smaller margin for error. Yeah. It happens. It happens. Racing's a brutal game. Sometimes it rewards you for your skills. Sometimes it just kicks you in the butt. That was my week? Alright. I've done a trio of races around Qatar, and all of them were sprint races. So 3 18-minute qualifying sessions, 3 sprints, and 3 50% races. So I'm pretty burnt out from Lusail. Not to mention that Lusail is quite broken when it comes to tyre wear and fuel consumption. Like, fuel consumption was a big issue right at the beginning of the game, but as it turns out, during a sprint weekend at Qatar, the tyre wear, for whatever reason, skyrockets. Not terribly sure why, but yeah, it was an interesting week. I'm looking forward to capping it off here. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 9 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're competing at Circuit de Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix. Home to what is without a doubt the most iconic race in the world of Formula 1, the racetrack was created in 1929. All thanks to this race's brainchild, Anthony Noakes, and has been part of the Formula 1 schedule since the very beginning in 1950. Its history, its prestige, and its challenge transformed the race into what is regarded to be one of the 3 crown jewel races of all motorsport. It's an incredibly demanding and brutal driver's circuit that tests the very limits of focus and sheer skill. It measures up at 2.07 miles and consists of 19 legendary corners and a single DRS zone that leads down the main straight into Saint-Devote. The entire racetrack is covered in Armco, so a single tiny mistake may prove to turn quickly and savagely into a race-ending accident. And boy, oh boy, have the margins just shrunk quite considerably, because guess what? It's raining for this qualifying session here in Monte Carlo. With the almost impossible to pass nature of the racetrack, this will be the most important qualifying session of the season. But before we touch more on qualifying, there is a little bit of news to go through first. From the previous race in Bahrain, oh, these pool souls. Hopefully it isn't raining in the race. Please, be gentle on them. Codemaster gods, don't make it rain in the race. There were 2 incident reports that came out with penalties, the first of which involving Brody. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this was in the rules. But Rule 5-1.3 states you can't use inters or wets on a dry track. And vice versa, so you can't use slicks on a intermediate circuit. And that's a standing 10-second time penalty for Brody, straight off the bat. So I didn't know that. Because in a lot of other leagues, drivers tend to use intermediate tyres in a dry qualifying just to try and save a set of softs for perhaps later in the session or maybe even the race. So, yeah, it's good that I now know that. The second incident involved Warren and Harris. The stewards deems Harris was responsible for the contact, so he was given a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points for the incident. Brody would lose only 1 spot. He would go from P11 to P12. Harris would move from P9 to P11 in the final results. Now, the championship table, I don't think has been absolutely updated. It only changes a little bit at the very bottom of the top 10. So the front runners, they remain where they are. It's Vermu who is leading the way in the Drivers' Championship on 156 points, followed by Silkweaver on 91. Yeah, it's a big margin, and you kind of expect that after Vermu has won 4 races out of the 8 we've had so far. And in the Teams' Championship, that's equally reflected. Mercedes lead on 214, Haas are just behind. I say just, it's actually... that's nowhere near correct. They're on 118. They're almost 100 points behind. So yeah, it's a considerable gap between the top 2 in the Teams' Championship. Alright, we got a few drivers out on track. We got Stubley and Vermu beginning their first flying laps. We got Silkweaver out on track. Alright, Brody, we're going to ride on board with you. We're going to take a tour of the streets of Monte Carlo. Into turn 1, third gear, clipping the apex, keeping it out of the barrier as we exit Santa Vault. We head up Beau Rivage around turn 2 and then into the left of turn 3. This is Massenet, fourth gear. Getting back on the power as we head into Casino Square, turn 4. Down the hill towards Mirabeau, turn 5. Drop it down to second gear. And there's Zotic in the wall. He's out of qualifying. Into the famous hairpin, the slowest corner in Formula 1. Crawling around at 24 miles an hour. We head down towards the second Mirabeau. And then Portier. Crawling round second gear as we exit turn 8. We'll head through the tunnel curve here at turn 9 and up towards the Nouvelle Chicane, turns 10 and 11 on the racetrack. Down to second gear, crawling our way through nice and steady. Keeping the car relatively straight as we head towards Tabac, turn 12. Very tricky corner, very easy to put it in the wall. Through the Louis Chiron chicane and then the swimming pool chicane. Third gear, clipping the wall but keeping it enough out of the barriers that he doesn't retire out of the session. Out of La Rascasse and then Anthony Nogues, the final corner of the racetrack. Down the main straightaway and up towards the line. Brody will set a 19.8. Just a few hundredths off Stubley in P2. But yeah, under lights here in Monte Carlo. Wet weather conditions and another retirement. A Red Bull, Warren crashing out at turn 1. Oh, there's a car park. What's going on here? Slow down, slow down. Orlando gets through. Who's that McLaren? Is that Mr. Duval? It is Mr. Duval. He appears to have broken his front wing. Running into the back of Warren, who ran into the barrier on the outside of turn 1. So drama already. And we're not even at the halfway mark of this qualifying session. Oh no. Oh no. Round to back, turn 12 through 13 and 14. Very fast chicane. That's probably one of the best camera angles in all of Formula 1. And you see the cars fly through the Louis Chiron chicane. Up towards the final corner, Vermoo improves to a 17.7. His teammate heads on to the main straightaway. Across the line to set a 19.6. Goes third fastest. Red Devil in front of him by a margin of just under half a second. So some pretty big margins towards the top of the field. Let's see if anyone can try and challenge the leading duo. Cars behind though pretty close. Schulz 19.6, Stubley 19.7, Brody 19.8 and Silkweaver 19.9. All pretty close there. Saint going to have another crack at a flying lap here. Sets a benchmark of a 27.5. So evidently not a proper competitive flying lap. Round Massenet, turn 3, fourth gear. Modulating the throttle. Quite a lot, all the way through the section. Eventually reaches full throttle. Round Mirabeau, a slow crawl through the first hairpin. An even slower crawl through the second hairpin. Nice and steady on the accelerator. No engine audio from this camera angle. Engines are quite loud, even these V6 turbo hybrids, so the fact that we get no engine audio there is quite silly. Oh, you could imagine a screaming V8 or V10 going through that tunnel. That would be a sound to remember. Oh, Saint having a whittle moment through there. Oh, he had a bigger moment though at the back. He's destroyed the end plate on the right side of his front wing. He did mention in the Discord, he really doesn't like this place. A lot of people, they either love it or hate it, I feel like, in Monaco. There's not a lot of in-between. There are some in-between that don't mind Monaco, but I feel like it's either a love or hate relationship with this racetrack. Kryptonic going slowly, getting out of the way of Vermoo. He's on another flyer. Not a legal one, though. He has invalidated this lap. So, yeah. He is well clear of P2, which is now being occupied by Brody in the Alpine. And 18.5 is the time he's set. I'll be curious to see how much the conditions improve over the session, if they do actually improve. I mean, the rain has stayed pretty constant over the first half of this session. I don't think it's gotten any worse. I don't think it's gotten any lighter. I think it's stayed pretty much the same. Round Massenet towards Casino Square, down the hill towards Mirabeau. Oh, he crashed on his outlap. What? When leaving the pits out of turn 1? Is that how he crashed? I thought he was on a flyer and just crashed at turn 1 like a Checo Perez when he did that. Oh no, there's a clip of it. Oh no. Well, could be worse, I guess. We'll be able to participate in the race. It appears that Red Devil's bailed on this lap. Looks like Silkweaver's going to try. Going to have a crack at a lap shortly. Nortec well down. He might be going back into the pits. We'll wait to see. He's down by a second to the middle sector. He heads towards La Rascasse. And no, he's still pushing on. Interesting. Silkweaver's gone back into the pits too. Stubley, I think he just improved by half a tenth. He's P7 at the moment. Hunger making his way through the middle sector towards the second mirror. But no engine audio from that camera angle. I might have to just switch it on board when that camera angle pops up. That's very strange to get absolutely nothing from that angle. Typical Codemasters, there's always just bugs. Bugs that kind of ruin the experience. Kryptonic jumps up to P5, 19.4. Yeah, fair few cars in the 19. I've got to give them credit. Around a racetrack like this, where it's so easy to lose time, we've got some pretty tight competitive times, and it looks like Hunger here is going to jump inside that 19 time slot. Up towards Anthony Nogues. So tricky to apply the accelerator. Crosses the line, 19.4 P6. Just in front of Kryptonic, just in front of DK Nortec, who's out on track, heading up towards the middle sector split. He's not on a competitive flyer. He's 4.2 seconds down. Mr. Duval just improved in the first sector by almost a tenth of a second. And see what I mean? No audio. Oh, yeah. Bit of an oopsie there at the hairpin, smashing the barrier on the outside. So that flying lap's in the bin. He's pulling off to the side to let Hunger through. He goes through the tunnel towards the Nouvelle Chicane. Kryptonic jumps up to P2. Oh, and that's an overshoot. He's just decided to go flat out through the chicane. Saint looking to set a competitive time on these intermediate tyres. Like I said, the conditions, they've stayed pretty stagnant, so I don't think we'll be seeing wet weather running at all. I don't think we're seeing any dry running either in this qualifying session. The Moob has crashed out at Casino Square. You can see where he's docked stationary. He has binned the car at Casino with just under 6 minutes left in qualifying. I wonder then, can anyone improve to a 17 as Saint crosses the line, does a 20.1, just missing out on that 19 lap time by 0.2 of a second. Kryptonic will be going back to the pit side, I assume. Yeah, he is. Red Devil out on track. Silkweaver out on track. Schulz on a preparation lap, it seems. Nope, on an in lap. With a full charge of battery in the car. Interesting. Maybe he got some minute wing damage and he's come back in for repairs. Silkweaver, see what you can do out of Anthony Nogues. Down the main straightaway towards Santavot. He's sideways, but he keeps it out of the barriers. Crossing the line now to begin the flying lap. Through Santavot, third gear, back on the power. Eventually reaches full throttle as he climbs the hill, climbs Beau Rivage towards Massenet. Turn 3. Drops it down to third gear, modulates the throttle. Keeping it in third through Casino Square, down the hill towards Mirabeau. Clock says to the first sector he's up by 0.3 of a second. Round the hairpin at turn 6, round turn 7, down the hill into Portier, turn 8. Yellow's out in the first sector, slow moving Ferrari, they'll be stubbly on an outlap. Through the Nouvelle Chicane. Up towards Tabac. 5th gear. Back down to 4. Oh, sideways. Big moment there. He's up by 7.5 tenths, but he would have lost time with that mistake. Clobbers over the swimming pool chicane. Now around La Rascasse, 2nd gear. Gently applies the throttle. Round the final corner. 3rd gear. 4th gear. Lighting up the rear tyres. Crossing the line, an 18.7 P4 for Silkweaver. Oh, is he almost? He almost mimicked Checo Perez right there. Oh my word. Chucked it through turn 1. Round La Rascasse goes Red Devil. Up towards the final corner, 2nd gear. Very, very tidy. Through the final part of the lap, Red Devil crosses the line, P5 and 18.773. Just a few hundredths off Silkweaver in P4. Now Red Bull, that is Saint getting ready. Oh, Brody's in the wall. That is at La Rascasse and he goes back into pit lane. Thrown it into the barrier. Not quite Schumacher style, that looked a bit more genuine. Nortec to the first sector split is up by 0.3 of a second. Solid improvement in the first sector. No audio. Gee whiz. Round the second mirror boat round Portier into the tunnel. The Alpine V6 isn't too bad. Well, it's not quite an Alpine, it's a Renault V6, ain't it? Through the Nouvelle chicane, second gear. Eventually reaches full throttle. Through to back. Whoa. Such a tricky corner. You have to be so spot on. He's up by half a second, so he's looking at a 19 flat. Whoa. Nice and tidy. Out of the Larascas hairpin. Out of the final corner now. Saint just in front of him, getting ready to set a flying lap. Or begin a flying lap. Nortec does an 18.5, just behind his teammate by a few hundredths of a second. Stubbly making his way up the hill, up Beau Rivage. Silkweaver's currently down in the first sector. Red Devil's beginning a flying lap here, making his way around Massenet. Then through Casino Square. Head down the hill towards the first sector split. What does the clock say for the Williams driver? He's up, but only by a little bit, by 38 thousandths of a second. Mr. Duval is currently down by a tenth and a half. Needs to put together a tidy final sector if they want to improve. Somebody's jumped up. It's the Alfa Romeo. Hunger jumping up to a P2 position, and 18.2 is the lap time he's done. Mr. Duval crosses the line. He doesn't improve. Schulz is down in the first sector. Red Devil making his way through the Nouvelle chicane. Nice and tidy out of there. Towards to back. Fifth gear. Back down to fourth. Very tidy through there. Through the first chicane. Up by 63 thousandths. Not a huge improvement. And that doesn't help. Bonking the wall out of the swimming pool complex. Bit of understeer as well at Larascas. Out to the final corner now and down the main straightaway. Red Devil, will he improve? The answer is no. He lost way too much time in the final sector. Silkweaver's down in the first sector. Saint has improved by a second and a half to do an 18.6. Looks like he's on a second flyer as he heads down the hill towards the first sector split. He's only a little bit down by 55 thousandths of a second. Ooh, that's a broken front wing. That is, I'm guessing, the Ferrari of Stubbly, who's got that broken front wing. He's currently P2 with an 18.1. As the clock reaches 0, this is everybody's final flying lap attempts. So Brody's done. Same with Hunger in P3. Mr. Duval's done. Oh, Kryptonic's thrown it into the wall. He's a tenth and a half down now. Saint heading towards the middle sector split. Orlando's going back into pit lane, looking at the minimap. He's up by almost 3/10 of a second. Needs to find a couple more tenths if he wants to start on the front row. He's thrown away the lap through the final sector. Appears that Red Devil's done. What about Schulz then? Through the middle sector. Nope, he's done as well. Vacates to the runoff area. Nortec will be going back into pit lane, so I think that's qualifying over. So even though he crashed out midway through qualifying, Vermeulen will start from pole position for this Monaco Grand Prix, the only driver in the 17s. A tough session for everybody. Hopefully the rain disappears for the race. Hopefully. Yeah, one of the more chaotic sessions, I think is the best way of describing it. A lot of crashing. Few incidents. A car park out of Saint-Avant. So, from qualifying, Vermeulen will start from pole position with Stubbly alongside him on the front row. Hunger P3 followed by Kryptonic, and Brody completes the top 5. Nortec P6 followed by Saint in 7th. Silkweaver is P8, followed by Red Devil, and Mr. Duval rounds out the top 10. You have Schulz P11, followed by, this is Orlando in 12th. Now Zotic and Warren weren't able to put lap times, both of them crashing out in the early stages of qualifying. They'll be starting right from the back. Yeah, hopefully the rain disappears. I don't mind it in qualifying, but in the race, it's just going to make it very, very long. But yeah, I know what that's like. When you set a decent benchmark down and you're not able to string together another lap, I do that quite frequently, particularly in F1 games. Don't know why. Maybe I pay too much attention to the delta and not enough on the racetrack at that point. Because obviously on your very first lap you've got no delta, so you're just out there driving. And then afterwards, every lap that you do afterwards, you're busy comparing yourself, your current lap time, to your delta, to your previous lap time. And it constantly distracts me. No matter what I do, I keep looking at it. It's a horrible habit to get yourself into. No rain. That's good. That's good. Been a while. Been a long while since I've done a 50% race here at Monaco. I've got no idea what the tyres are like. I've got no idea what the strategy is. I've got no clue. It's been so long. Because a lot of leagues tend to actively avoid Monaco for 50% races. Done a few 100% races here though. They're not too bad. It's a proper test of endurance. Do 78 laps around here. Completely focused. Trying not to make any mistakes. Ooh, okay. Rain at the end, according to Schulz. Great. Mixed weather conditions then. Formation lap time. Oh, okay. Thank you, game. It must have been listening to me. Lap 21 to 30 for the hard tyre. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. 21 to 30 for the hards. Which is basically the entire race. Well, if it's going to be raining then, at the end, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people would be on the hard tyre. Oh, okay. We've got a mix-up. Alright. We'll run through the order just quickly then. Vermoo is starting from pole position on the hard compound tyre. Stubley starting alongside him on the mediums. Oh, as Vermoo bonks the wall. That's the second mirror though. Don't do that in the race. Honka's P3 on the hard compound tyre. Then the following four cars, we have Kryptonic, Brody, Nortec and Saint. They're all on the mediums. We have Seal Cleaver P8 on the hard, same with Red Devil in P9. Duval 10th on the mediums, then we have Schulz in 11th on the softs. Orlando in 12th, he's on the mediums. And then we have Zotic and Warren starting towards the back. They're on the hard tyre, which is quite understandable. It's a fair enough prediction. To have a safety car early on in the race. Everyone's bunched up, so if there is an accident, it will more than likely involve multiple cars. But then again, I've noticed in old games, I'm not sure if it's reflected in F123, but in old games, street circuits tend to produce less safety cars for some reason. Even though you can have huge pile-ups, the game just always decides not to have a safety car for some reason. But that's with older F1 games. I'm not sure if that's still a thing in F123. Zotic disqualified himself, so he's pushed himself back a little bit. Alrighty then, folks. Everyone's lined up to race. We got 39 long laps in front of us, 10 red lights, and we're underway here in the streets of Monte Carlo. It's a great start from Vermoo, as you'd expect from pole position. He'll be able to cover off Stubley, just about. But Stubley hangs it around the outside with the extra grip on those mediums and takes the lead, heading into Massenet. Towards Casino Square now. The Ferrari driver has the opportunity to try and pull away. Brody down the inside of Hunger. He moves through into P3. Kryptonic has a go as well. Down into the hairpin. Look at this car park. Everyone. Oh, Mr. Duval breaks his wing. Sends it in too hard and completely destroys the front wing on that McLaren. He'll have to pit at the end of this lap to get that replaced. He's now down in last position. But what a fantastic start from Stubley. Was just good enough off the line, and he had that extra grip of those medium tyres to hang it round the outside and take the lead from Vermeulen. Out of the swimming pool complex. Stubley with a clear track in front of him has the opportunity to pull away, and Vermeulen will have a near impossible task of trying to pass that Ferrari. Brody with a pretty decent start as well. He's moved up 2 positions. A few drivers up 1 thanks to the incident that involves Mr. Duval. Zotic going slowly as well. So into the pits comes Duval. Sort of hard tyres at the ready, as well as a front wing. Got a long race ahead for poor Mr. Duval. Very, very long race. Round the hairpin. Nice and steady here. Now, I'll be curious to see how these strategies sort of pan out. We are set to have wet weather conditions towards the end of the race, as Brody has a little moment. That was at the exit of Portier. The gap has increased to 1.5 seconds. Nice little onboard shot here behind the shoulder. Sitting on the armrest, heading up towards the back. Then we get this wide angle shot, seeing all the expensive yachts none of us can afford. Out of the swimming pool complex towards La Rascasse. Brody's cut down the gap. Cut it down to under a second. DRS obviously will help. Trying to close in. Try and perhaps develop a chance for an overtake. But realistically speaking, all of these guys are going to be pretty much stuck. Vermeulen probably needs to get a bit creative. Hello, Spark. There's a random spark there, a casino script. Just sparking away, doing its own thing. It's good to see that's still a visual glitch. Oh, hello, Kryptonic. Closing in on the Alfa Romeo on those medium tyres. Unable to find a way through just yet. Bit of a wiggle. Some DRS usage here underneath the tunnel. Through the Nouvelle chicane. Stubley looking a bit awkward coming out of that chicane. Awesome camera angle. Up towards La Rascasse. Half a second separating the 2 cars. Just need to keep it under control. That's all that Vermeulen needs to do. Realise that there's 39 laps in this Grand Prix. He doesn't have to attack Stubley straight away. He can try and set up a pass or perhaps wait for Stubley to make a mistake. If Vermeulen can keep the pressure up, there's always a chance that Stubley makes a tiny mistake. The only thing is, though, if he does make a mistake, Vermeulen... I need to slow down. Vermeulen needs to be ready to make sure he doesn't get involved in his mistake. Zotic pits in. Set of mediums now put on the car. Probably bonked the wall at some point. Makes his way out. Down in last place. Still a long, long race. Just need to keep soldiering on. That's all you can really do. He's all over the back of Stubley. But again, you need to be careful. If Stubley makes a mistake and you're too close, you won't have enough time to react to make sure you don't get involved in his mistake. So it's sort of the risk. It's a risk that you take driving so close. Lap 5 now. DRS wide open on that car. Brody's not terribly far behind either. If Brody can find a way to get within 1 second, he'll be able to close in at least a little bit faster with the help of DRS. Does debris give time? I don't know in F123. I know it did in old games where you could run over debris. Ah, there we go. Not with the settings we have. Okay, so it is possible, but it has to be enabled. Sim damage. Right. Shows you how much I play this game nowadays. I would have known that in older games, but now I don't. The only time I hop onto this game is to do commentary these days. I do not race in it, period. Which is very strange. I own a racing game and I don't race in it. Primarily because I don't know, I don't find the 50% races that interesting to drive in anymore. But doing commentary for it, a bit of a different story. I always enjoy watching these guys sending it out on track. Always good fun. Red Devil, hello. A pass. Another pass! Oh my god. Overtaking. Get your cameras out, folks. We actually saw some overtaking. Silkweaver moves down to P10. Schulz almost puts himself in the barrier. Schulz on those soft tyres, trying to make them work. Yellow, hello. It's Kryptonic. No, sorry, it's Zotic. Why did I say Kryptonic? Oh, well, that's why. He's retired. He's just crashed out. And the safety car has been deployed. Oh, no, I kind of spoke it into existence, didn't I? Oh, no. That's one of the more unique commentator curses that I've ever done. Ever. Oh, and a drive-through. Speeding. Oh, no. Well, that's a huge kick in the butt for Hunger. We'll have to serve that after the safety car period ends. Well, there we go. One car down, 13 left, and we've got over 30 laps to go. Nobody's pitting. Nobody's pitting. Interesting. Oh, there we go. So Hunger's in, and he might as well come in. He's got a drive-through that he has to serve after this safety car period. So you might as well put on some new tyres while you're at it, while the safety car's out. You might as well. Few other drivers in. Silkweaver in for a set of mediums and a front wing change. So that explains why he was being beaten up on the straightaways. Had front wing damage and he was trying to fight with it. Orlando gains the position as a result. So Silkweaver down to 11th. You're kidding! He was coming into the pits game! A drive-through for speeding! He came into the pits! What are you on about? Well, Duval's just been kicked in the butt. Oh. Oh, there you go. Glitch. Oh, okay. So it's like the Montreal glitch. I know there's a glitch in Montreal where you can get a speeding penalty while entering the pits. I've seen that on multiple occasions, actually. Yeah, you're not in a particularly great situation, but I suppose you've still got many laps to go. There's still a chance that you can try and recover. And survival's everything. Even if you don't get another safety car, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few more retirements over the course of this race. Delta spikes, yeah, right. Okay, why are you back in? Front wing change. So he's hit the barrier somewhere out on track, so it's going from bad to worse. The Alfa Romeo driver. He'll have a drive-through to serve. He's on soft tyres now. I wouldn't be surprised if he pits again to move on to mediums. Because I honestly don't know how long you can take those soft tyres. I've got no clue. But I'm going to guess it's not particularly long. Monaco. Chaos. Chaos incarnate. Yeah, I didn't know that was a glitch here in Monaco. I've seen it a lot at Montreal. Done Imola. Wouldn't mind racing at Imola. Initially wasn't a huge fan of it, but I eventually come to like the racetrack. Don't mind it at all. It's tough. It's a very tough little racetrack. I quite enjoy it. Oh, this should be the last lap done behind the safety car. Should be. Monaco at night. Certainly looks very different. This track. Oh, hello. Zotic back at the pits. Front wing at the ready. My guys! You're behind the safety car. Are you pushing that hard to break the wing? Come on, just drive it. Don't do dumb. Very vague. Oh. But yeah, this track showcases probably the one decent thing that Codemasters pull off is the visuals. Because you got to admit, they've got the visuals pretty spot on with Monaco. Like, the sheer amount of detail and effort put into this racetrack, it's quite remarkable. They've also improved the camera angles. We got this new angle. This was introduced this year. I do like it. You just see the expansiveness of the harbour that we race around. You can also see a bit of Beau Rivage while we're at it, because it's that close. But it's about the only thing I constantly give Codemasters credit for is, particularly with urban environments, there's a lot of detail put into it. Like Baku's the same with Singapore. They put a lot of effort in. I'll give them credit for it. Back onto the main straightaway now, up towards the line. Safety car period is over. We're back under green flag conditions. It's lap 10 of 39. We've got a long way to go. Up the hill, up Beau Rivage towards Massenet. The gap sits at 3.5 Saint gets by his teammate Warren, so that was probably just a nice little exchange between teammates. I'm sure Warren just sort of let him through. Didn't want to hold up his teammate, allowed him to get on with it. Warren under a bit of pressure from Schulz, who has a sneaky look down the inside at Mirabeau. Oh, there is engine audio. It's just so quiet you can barely hear it. You have to whisper. So don't blow out your eardrums with my voice. The move down the inside of the race leader. Contact between the two. Hey, that was always going to happen. Going through that chicane side by side, there's always contact. Very rarely can you get through there in one piece. And I think they probably did the best they could. So Vermeulen now takes the lead at the end of this lap. And he'd be planning to try and open up the taps and drive away. Now begin lap 11. And the gap is 0.9 of a second between Vermeulen and Stubley. Hunger and Duval have come in to serve their drive-through penalties. Yeah, pain indeed, Kryptonic. I'm sorry for you. Down the hill. I get that. There. Oh, gee whiz. Devil. Saint almost goes into the wall. Gee whiz. Up towards the chicane. Saint having a big old look down the inside. There was contact. It worked. Saint's on a charge. He is not messing around with those fresh tyres. Oh, clobbering over the curbs there at the swimming pool complex. Closing in on Nortec. Making full use of those fresh tyres. Yellow's out in Sector 3. Schulz is around. In contact with Orlando. And Schulz has been given a 5-second time penalty because of that severe collision. It was so severe, did you see it? It was the biggest accident you've ever seen. As the Alfa Romeo moves into P11. It was massive. Schulz definitely deserves that 5-second time penalty. Without question. Such a big accident. Gotta love this game. Actually, no, I don't. I freaking hate this game. Silkweaver closing in. It gets very close to Warren. Oh, hello. Saint getting Nortec. Nortec under pressure from Red Devil. No, he's just pitting. Front wing at the ready, even though it looks intact. Again, Gabe, tell me when their wing's broken. It looks intact, and he's getting a replacement. Gang, please. Tell you what, Alfa Romeo are going to run out of front wing shortly. The amount of times I've seen these cars come in for changes is ridiculous. They're going to blow out their cap budget because of front wing replacements. Silkweaver behind Warren. Can't find a way through. Monaco in a nutshell. Towards Portier. What a bit of battery to play with. He's closing. Will we see a move here? Warren leaves the inside line open. Hey, that's a big set! There was an attempt. And look. Oh, it was an attempt, lads. Don't beat hard on him. It was an attempt. Far out. Brody is in. Not a front wing replacement, just new tyres. Give that, yeah. Well, yeah, he did kind of cut the track and gain position, so I don't know if Warren wants to send that in. He more than likely get a penalty for it. He doesn't give it back. So Brody comes out in P11 on fresh tyres. He'll be able to push, but he'll have a hard time making his way through. That's for sure. Now, man, it's quiet. Every time it cuts to this camera angle, it's so quiet. I'm so alone. Now, the Alfa is not quite close enough to attack the Mercedes just yet. Not even for a big Silkweaver dive bomb. Ooh, I think he might have brushed the wall there, judging by the audio. I had a bonk. Like a little bonk, but a bonk nonetheless. Front wing! Another one! Whalers. Oh, and there's a horde of cars coming. There goes Schulz, there goes Hunger, here comes Orlando, then Brody. Oh, he's getting swamped up. He might be passed by Mr. Duval as well. He is. Zotta gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and Stubley comes out in P11 now, but he's on fresh tyres, so he'll be able to push, similar to Brody, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tough time making his way through. It did indeed. Yeah, with the extra time lost with the wing change. There's a few extra cars to try and pass. It is so deathly quiet at the hairpin. And Zodic's back in. He didn't have a wing change, did he? Was that just for tyres, or was that a wing change? I could check. The pit stops. Most recent. Front. Oh no. Anyway, this is Monaco. Oh, gee whiz! And that was a big slide. He almost got another. Almost ordered another replacement. That's what you did, Kryptonic. Oh no. Saw it in live action, except it didn't result in an accident. Just. Yeah, pretty much, Ken. Oh, Zotic, he's crashed out, and that is a virtual safety car being deployed. Where is he? Where is he? Oh. There's his debris. The car despawned, but I saw his debris. And that's the safety car coming out too. Look, there it is there. So it's a VSC turning into a safety car. Well, I can't help but feel that... I reckon a fair few drivers are going to pit here. You would think. Wait, what is the safety car doing? Doesn't it usually wait up after turn 1? Where is it going? You can see where the yellow dot's going. It's going to Casino Square, right? Those are inters! What? Those are inters. Why is he on inters? How far away is the rain? Well, driver's staying out. Everyone else is pitting onto mediums. It's supposed to be rain at the end, yeah. We're a fair way away from the end, and that's... Oh, 5 seconds for ignoring yellow flags. What for? Guess he might have passed Schulz when he was leaving the... No, Schulz didn't go into the pits. So, how did he get a 5 second? Vermeux's on inters. Surely he just made a mistake. Like, maybe he had it preset to intermediates earlier in the race. And forgot to change it to a set of slicks. Maybe. It's not raining yet. Like those streaks we're seeing, that's those are the lights. Huh. What's the mood doing? Let's see. Does he pit? No, he doesn't. What? He's staying out on intermediates. We're not even at the halfway mark. I don't know. I don't know. Let him cook. Yeah, I'm just going to let him cook. Let him cook. I mean, dude might burn himself to oblivion by the way he's cooking, but who knows, he might actually be a genius. Because everyone else is on slicks. So Silkweaver are race leaders on mediums, Vermeux out there on inters, Warren on hards, Schulz on hards, Brody on relatively fresh mediums. We've got Devil Saint and Stubley, they're all on, oh well, primarily Devil and Saint, they're on fresh mediums. Stubley's on relatively fresh mediums like Brody. Nortex on relatively fresh hards, Hunger is on fresh mediums. We've got Orlando and Mr. Duval on fresh softs, so what is Vermeux up to? How far away is that rain? I feel like he's just taken a big unnecessary gamble putting on these intermediates. Either that or it's a genuine mistake and he's just committing to it. Down the main straightaway, up towards the start-finish line. Silkweaver will begin lap 19 of 39 here in Monaco. And unsurprisingly, the gap between the top two is increasing, who would have thought? Oh, Brody, round the outside of Schulz. He's now blocked by Warren a little bit there at Casino Square. Down the hill. Oh, there's a car park back here. What's going on? Someone's getting swamped. It's Red Devil. Down the inside goes Hunger. Schulz going slowly, balking everybody out of the Mirabeau hairpin. Now through the tight hairpin. Oh, Mr. Duval having a sneaky look there. He's pulled it off, to be fair. He moves up to P11. Silkweaver has got 2 seconds in hand to Vermouth, who has actually pulled away from the rest of the field because they've been scrapping. So, it's worked on the first lap at least. Brody can't find a way through just yet. Round the swimming pool complex. Around the Rascasse. Ooh, that's close. That was very close to contact. Onto the main straight. Switching on the battery. Up towards Santavot. Can't find a way through just yet. Right on the back of the Red Bull. He didn't switch on the battery heading up here. He doesn't want to pass into Massenet. Stay behind. Saint closing in. Stubbly closing in. As we head down the hill. Towards Mirabeau. Contact! And almost around goes Warren. Brody trying to find a way through. Stubbly and Saint are side by side. Going around the hairpin. Contact. Just a little bit there, as you'd kind of expect. Through a hairpin like that. Saint almost goes into the outside wall at the second Mirabeau. He managed to slot himself in behind. Oh, Brody. Right in behind Warren. Looking down the inside. He breaks deep. He pulls it up. He gets it done. That's a better version of the Silkweaver special right there. So he's now up to P3. His next target is, well, this guy on the intermediates. These tyres must be burning. They have to be. Surely. Orlando has just gotten Hunger. DRS is now enabled. 4.5 seconds is the margin. Warren under attack from Stubbly, who moves through. Saint will move through as well into P5. Nortec right in behind. Can't find a way through. Ooh, that was a bit of lag. Duval now in P8 on those soft tyres. Making him work. Oh, Schulz. Very narrow line there. Oh, Schulz going very, very slowly. Just letting people through. He might have damage on that car. Well, I'm sure this guy's bottom line. Nortec gets by Warren. Brody gets by Vermouth. Virtual safety car. For what? Who's broke their wing? Nortec looks fine. Duval looks fine. Hello. It's Warren. Broken front wing on that Red Bull. He's found either a barrier or somebody's gearbox. And he's destroyed that front wing. So he'll have to come in and get that replaced. So the VSC out for debris. And Brody given a drive-through penalty for speeding during the VSC period. Oof. He's worked his way up to second. He's now thrown it away. Stubbly moves through into P3. Schulz retires from the session. We're down to 11. What is going on out here? Saint down the inside, heading through Massenet. Well, Vermeuth hasn't sunken like a stone in water, to be fair. He's still out there. And we've got others moving to intermediates now. Nortec down the inside, as I think it might actually be raining. It is raining. As Schulz left the session. Duval round the outside. It's done. P6 is his. So the rain is starting to fall here in Monaco. But how long will it take for the track to change to intermediate conditions. On top of that, Vermouth's tyres should be pretty cooked right now. They're going to be beyond well done as Orlando closes in. Not by enough to try and pass yet. Yeah, that's right. His tyres are going to be that done. He might have to pit again. To Rick. Oh, into the wall! Into the wall goes Vermouth and Orlando. They trip over each other and they both have to pit. The race is going from bad to worse for the championship leader. A new set of inters and a front wing at the ready. Orlando will have to do the same. Track position is everything here at Monaco, and that's why you don't have to make a mistake. You can be caught up in somebody else's. These two have tripped over each other just before the pit lane entry. They both cost themselves dearly, and there goes Hunga. He's now the leading intermediate runner in P8. Well, an audacious strategy call. I think it's cost Vermouth a chance of winning this race. But then again, I say that, we've still got a long way to go until the checkered flag comes out, so... Brody coming in. He'll be putting on intermediate tyres. Oh no, sorry. He had to serve that drive-through, of course. Mr. Duval though, he's in for repairs. He's broken his front wing somewhere and he's on to intermediates. Oh, what about Vermouth? Right on the back of Hunga. Battles on then for Vermouth. Needs to try and find a way through. He won't be mucking around anymore. Oh. Better drive out of the final corner, plus some DRS assistance. Vermouth moves up into P8 and Mr. Duval in front, 8.1 seconds ahead. Through the final sector. Stubbly in P2, 4.2 seconds behind this man, our race leader. Crawling his way out of Larascas and through the final corner. None of the top three pitting in just yet. They don't feel it's ready to go on to intermediates just yet. They're still fighting it out on their slick tyres. Brody coming in, perhaps? He is. Red Devil. Relatively fresh tyres compared to those in front. Certainly looks a hell of a lot quicker. Unfortunate for him, he's a long way behind the leader. Lighting up the rear tyres, coming out of the pits. Virtual safety car deployed again. Who for? Show me the front of the car, game. I want to see the front. I think I see a bit of front wing. Yeah, there's front wing. Warren's in, so I'm guessing he's the reason why. There we go. Completely destroyed front wing on the Red Bull. So he's back in. That's a set of mediums. That's not a set of inters. That's a set of slicks. Nortec, a drive-through penalty for speeding during the VSC period. Another drive-through penalty. It's all... It's all just imploding out here at Monaco. Incidents here and there. More penalties. Stubbly 3 seconds. That's for turn 1. Cutting too much at turn 1. Got a track limits warning. He's now got a 3-second time penalty. Nortec's in to serve that drive through. Vermouth gets a 3-second time penalty. Nortec will come out in 4th place. Sector 3 yellows. Who for? Oh, around is Mr. Duval. That's a nice flick spin though. Oh, that wasn't much between him and Vermouth, though. Holy mackerel, there wasn't much between him and Vermouth. Hunger's back in. Orlando stays out. So, Duval's in for repairs. I'm guessing. Oh, look, slicks. Is the track actually getting better or something? Or is it just not getting wet enough to make the intermediates work? What is going on? What is this race? Saying a 3-second time penalty. Silkweave out here surviving on his mediums, but they're 19 laps old, 20 now. They've aged significantly. They've got to be close to puncture territory. I don't know. No one's close enough to be in DRS range at the moment. I actually don't know. I don't think I've seen DRS turned off. I don't think I've seen that prompt. I don't know. I actually have to wait until someone gets within 1 second. This is as close as it gets right now. Nortec, there's Red Devil, and Devil will close in. He's on fresher tyres, softer compound, he will close the gap. Currently sits at 1.1 seconds, so he's got an entire lap. Close into within a second, he's already done it. See if DRS is still enabled. Nobody pit. Half inters, half dries, yep. It's a proper weird mix-up right now in terms of tyre strategy. And I have absolutely no idea who's on the right one. Why is there still raindrop animations while they're going through the tunnel? Game. I suppose with some of the lingering raindrops on the car, maybe there would still be moving raindrops, I guess. Yeah, there's the DRS bar filling up. So DRS is still very much enabled. Dries seem like the best tyre for now. Interesting call from the game. So evidently, this wet weather, it's going to take a while. Vermouth's out! Vermouth is out! He's crashed out at the swimming pool complex. Vermouth, the championship leader, is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. There's his debris all over the middle of the track. No safety car, no VSC. Vermouth is out. We're down to 10. And he leaves the session, understandably so. Red Devil, he's done all the hard work catching up. That's a bit of a bump. But now he has a hard task of actually trying to pass. Through to back. 3.5 tenths behind through the chicane. Brody, a 3-second time penalty. Onto the main straightaway. DRS open. Closing the gap. Still can't find a way through. He's all over the back of it, but he just can't find a way through. Brody's in. Front wing change at the ready. It's a long old wait. Orlando gets by Mr. Duval. Still on those intermediates. Probably will need to pit. Yeah, I don't doubt that. Considering he's done 22 laps on these tyres, they should be shredded to bits at this point. Can we see any granny from here? Not really. That may be true, but considering the amount of laps we have to go, nobody's safe. Absolutely no one is safe. Round Larascas. Red Devil, can he find a way through an opening? Not yet. He's still stuck directly behind. Nortec hanging on. 17 lap old hards in these conditions. This is probably the worst tire to be on in these conditions. 17 laps old. Nowhere near their prime. Track as slick as a button. Car would be all over the place. Oh, and it looks all over the place. He's hanging on though. Doing a good job. Making sure Red Devil can't find a way through. Yeah, me too, for me. Me too. Rain's still coming down. Slick's still working. Warren, Duval, side by side out of turn one. They're climbing the hill. Up towards Massenet. Duval's got longer legs. Warren looking round the outside. Oh, contact, light contact. But Warren with the extra grip. Oh, almost puts it into the wall. Exiting Casino. Side by side again through Mirabeau. There we go. Warren gets in front. That was a big old slide out of Casino and somehow he saved it. Yeah, Duval on those intermediate tyres. Doesn't have the speed. There we go, change in position finally for Red Devil. He finds a way through. Now he's got all of the clear track in the world in front of him. He can just drive as hard as he needs to now. Basically set for fourth. Brody gets by. He moves into P6. Out in front though, there is our race leader, Silkweaver. 25 laps. It's been a mammoth stint on those mediums. He's desperately trying to hang on. I feel like he just needs to roll the dice. If he can somehow get those tyres to the end and just drive in the middle of the circuit, that's really all you have to do to try and defend here at Monaco. Just drive pretty much in the middle. You should be able to hang on. But then again, you're relying on a lot of luck, making sure that the tyres don't puncture. And there's nothing you can really do to try and avoid it either. Once it goes over the 70% range, it's RNG after that. It's all down to the game. These are going to be some long laps for Silkweaver, but I feel if he wants to win this race, he has to keep going. He has to. If he wants to win. On top of that, Stubley does have a penalty next to his name. What is it? Is it 3 seconds? It is 3. Stubley's in. Stubley is pitting in. Soft tyres at the ready. Way he leaves. Stubley's blinked. Saint now moves into P2. 8 seconds is the margin between him and Silkweaver. Dumping the battery up the hill. I reckon Saint senses an opportunity to try and win. His tyres are 10 laps fresher compared to Silkweaver. Still out on track. Bit of a wiggle there. Mr. Warren is directly behind him. Sure, Silkweaver probably let him through once Warren gets close enough. Nortec in the pits. He's in for fresh softs. Yellow's out. Brody's out. He's crashed out at the final corner. Another car down. Right on board here with Orlando. Oh, his car's disappeared. But there's the debris. Lost control coming out of Anthony Nogues. He is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. It is still raining. but it's still dry enough for the slicks to be working, and DRS is still enabled. 6 laps to go. 6 long laps of Monaco. 27 lap old mediums. He's still soldiering on. Will the tyres puncture? That's the ultimate question, because I feel like he only can stay out now. He has to commit to this. Stay out and pray. Pray those tyres stay inflated. Duval's on wets. He's saying, screw it, I'm going to use all compounds. I'm on the wet tyres now. And all he has to do is finish. He'll score points. You can't really see how the tyres are looking from the onboard cameras. Can't see the wear and tear on the tyre. A bit frustrating. Through the bus stop. Swimming pool complex, clobbering over the curbs, keeping it well away from the barriers. I think that's a very good idea in these conditions. Down the main straightaway. Lap 28. Orlando's in for intermediates. He's got a lap car just pressuring him. It's Warren. Right behind. Silkweaver just keeping an eye on that rear view mirror. Making sure you can see Warren, what he's up to. Have one eye poking forward, trying to work out how this car is going to behave when we get closer to the checkered flag, because it's going to be all over the place like that. The back end stepping out. Yeah, it's been sprinkling for a while and it still hasn't changed. Yep, that's all it takes at Monaco. Stubley has moved by Saint. So a change in position. Stubley flown in out of nowhere to pass Saint. So there we go. Saint's chance for a win. Feeling like it's over. It's all down to Stubley now, who is flying on those tyres. And we've still got a few laps to go. What a fascinating finish this might be here at Monaco. 4 laps to go. 8 and a bit miles. Yellow's out, it's Duval. He's around. There goes Nortec. Another nice flick spin there. Warren pits in for intermediates. Saint's in for intermediates. So Saint, he's got enough time that he can do this as well. He should come out in front of Red Devil. But what's very critical is how much pace do those intermediate tyres now have? Red Devil just 9 tenths behind. Sector 2 yellows. Who is it? Not Silkweaver. Might have been Mr. Duval going slowly. What about Hunger? Does he pit off these mediums? I think he might be. He is coming in to get off those slicks. Stubley 3.2 seconds behind. He is continuing to close the gap. You got to make a decision now, boys. Do you pit for inters? Do you fight it out on slicks? What does Silkweaver do? He stays out. Stubley stays out. He's on better tyres for these conditions. And he's closing the gap up massively. There comes a few cars out of the pits. It's Hunger and Duval. Duval now back on slicks when the track's at its wettest it's ever been. 1.6 seconds the gap. Continuing to tumble. 1.3. But catching up is one thing. Passing is a totally different ball game. If he's going for a pass, he needs to be committed. Ideally, he needs to make it as early as possible. Got a nice run going. He turns on the battery. Silkweaver, contact in the tunnel between the two leaders as they head down into the Nouvelle Chicane. Locking up, they make their way through, and Stubley takes the lead with 2.5 laps to go. Through to back. Then the swimming pool complex. What does Silkweaver do now? Does he continue to stay out? He can secure second. Winning this race is going to be very impossible. He's in. Now Saint, can he close the gap by enough to take second from Silkweaver? He does have a penalty hanging over his head. But in terms of track position, will it be Silkweaver in front or Saint? There goes Warren. Saint moves on to the main straightaway. There he is, just briefly in the corner of the screen. So Silkweaver will end up in front. Sideways, a little bit sideways there. Oh, even more sideways was Saint. Not by much, by half a second. So it's down to Stubley now. And I feel like for Stubley, he has to do the final lap in these conditions on those tyres. If he pits, let's look at the gap, 21 seconds. If that shrinks, or, well, even if he pits, even if he gets in front of Silkweaver, that time penalty is going to hold him back from winning the race. So Stubley needs to do the last lap on these tyres. He doesn't have a choice. If he wants to win, he has to do this last lap on these tyres. Clobbering over the curbs. He needs to make sure he doesn't get another penalty. The more penalty he gets, the easier it will be for Silkweaver to try and win. It's going to be a tall order for the AlphaTauri driver to try and win this thing. See what happens then. Last lap. DRS is disabled. It's probably the last thing Stubley wanted to see. The game now says it's intermediate conditions, boys. Have fun. This is going to be the longest 2 miles Stubley has ever driven in his life. Down the hill after Casino. The gap shrinks to 17.2. Yellows are out. Not terribly sure who that is. Someone made a mistake through the final corner. Down the hill. Around the hairpin. The gap shrinks some more. Stubley, he just needs to keep it out of the barriers. Just needs to keep it tidy. Through the middle sector towards the Nouvelle Chicane for the final time. Down to second gear. Gets through it. A bit sketchy, but he gets through it. Round to back. He gets through that. Then the bus stop. Nice and steady. Keeping it out of the barriers. Keeping it in the middle of the track. Around the Rascasse for the final time. 1 corner left. It's all he has to get through. He does. Back onto the main straightaway for the final time. It'll be Stubley who wins the Monaco Grand Prix. One of the more dramatic races I've seen here around the streets of Monte Carlo. Silkweaver will come home in second place. 9.6 seconds behind at the checkered flag. Saint crosses the line in P3. He'd be happy with that after the comments he made about this circuit pre-race. Got Orlando in 7th, Warren in 8th, Duval in 9th. What a weird, wacky, upside-down race here in Monte Carlo. Red Devils 4th, and Nortec will be the last driver to cross the finish line in 5th position. What a fantastically weird race. Oh, sorry, Hunger's yet to cross the finish line. Didn't pick up on that. His penalty marker. I thought that was a checkered flag for a minute. There we go. What a weird race that was. It was all up in the air when it came to strategy, and it's Stubley who pulls it off. Unbelievable stuff. Well, there we are. The end of our little adventure at Monaco. Orlando's given driver of the day. Holy moly. That was a race. Congratulations to Stubley. I thought pitting in for those soft tyres might have ended his chances, but he came back through brilliantly. He takes the win here in Monaco. P2 to Silkweaver, P3 to Saint. The unofficial results then of the Monaco Grand Prix. Stubley is your race winner by 9.6 seconds over Silkweaver in P2, and Saint completes the podium places in third. Congrats, gents. That's a brilliant performance from our top three. Weird, wacky strategies. Had no idea who got it right over the course of that race. But Stubley, he got it pretty spot on at the end of the day. Gives himself the win. Outside of the podium places, we have Red Devil in 4th, followed by Nortec in 5th. Hunger P6, followed by Orlando in 7th, who climbed up from 12th. Warren, though, he made up 6 places himself, starting from the back. Finishes in the points in 8th. Mr. Duval in the points as well in 9th. Our DNF's Brody with fastest lap in P10. Vermouth crashing out. Schulz retiring. Zotic retiring. And Kryptonic was our first retirement of the race. There you go. What a race. Weird, chaotic, dramatic, all of the above. That's what Monaco's about. Races that you'll never see at any other racetrack happen right there at Monaco. Every time. Every time. Most unbelievable races. That's what it produces. Complete boredom or the most bonkers storylines ever. No, folks, I think that will wrap everything up. Congratulations to our top 3. I mean, each one of you probably deserve a medal after that, surviving in those conditions. Especially Silkweed. How the hell do you need 30 laps on mediums? Almost had a shot of winning that race, but unfortunately just didn't have enough tyre speed. Try and hold off the sheer pace of Stubley on those soft tyres. Stubley spot on with the strategy. And I think Saint kept out of trouble and ended up getting 3rd around a racetrack he really doesn't like. There you go. But with everything said and done, it's now time for us to wrap up the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you everyone so much for watching. And we'll see you next week for round 10 of the AM1 Championship at the legendary Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari for the Imola Grand Prix. That's going to be a lot of fun, I reckon. Should be a lot of fun. Until next time, it's goodbye.